Is my mic level okay, by the way?
Yes, it's okay. Hey guys, welcome back for another interview in my home with a great photographer, filmmaker, and YouTubers. Welcome, Sean. Sean Tucker is here, guys. If you have any question, type in chat and I read for Sean. Thanks, Sean, to join this podcast. We have, as always, 1 hour to talking whatever we want. Don't worry. Start with the simplest question ever. Who is Sean Tagger?
You say it's simple. It's not always a simple question. Like,
It's never
uh,
a simple question.
it's never simple. Yeah, it's always changing. I suppose for me, like, who am I? Well, these days, like my job, I suppose is somewhere to start. I'm a photographer and a filmmaker and a writer, and I do a lot of kind of speaking as well. So I suppose in all those things, I feel like if there's like a headline to all that, I feel like I'm a communicator. You know, I've got things which I think are important to talk about, and I talk about those things really directly through the things I write or the videos that I make or when I give talks live. And then I'm trying to always work out how I can make photographs that speak about those things as well. But I know that I've got a little way to go with that. I've still got a lot to learn. But yeah, that's my background is uh, I studied psychology at university, so I've got an interest in like the human mind and how we think and how we relate to each other. That stuff's fascinating to me. I worked for the church for 10 years in Africa, so I've got this like interest in community and spirituality and all those kind of things as well. And I reckon all those things kind of feed into what I do now. I've always been a creative person. You know, I've always been interested in making things, and I think I'm just learning the whole time how to take the things that I think are important to talk about and put them into the things that I'm making. So for now, that's kind of where I find myself. I suppose it's
You
the
are
short
a
version.
big communicator in different lot ways: photography, filmmaking, speaking, writing. You make a lot of stuff, man, and I'm so wow. I'm very wow. I have no time to think how do you can do what do you I don't know, it's difficult to explain this concept, but okay, go on. And a lot of people ask me in direct, how difficult is to get the right idea or the right content for for YouTube. Okay, it's not only for YouTube. YouTube is a window, where people find you, okay? But in your opinion, what is the right idea to start to create a story?
For
For
YouTube,
example, no, for YouTube, for you, for your personal interesting. For example, you see something, a person, and they, hey, this is maybe this is a nice story to tell, or to write, or to photograph, or to filming.
mm, it's different for everything. That's why I say like I feel like I've still got a lot to learn with photography because if I'm going to be really honest, I don't think my street photography is tells stories very well yet. I think I've still got some growing up to do. Like I think I have some skills and I can produce some interesting compositions and I can control my exposure and play with shadows and stuff like that. But I still don't feel like there's a lot of depth or meaning in my street photography, and that's okay because I'm growing and I'm learning. So I'm on a journey with that. I think when it comes to the filmmaking side, it's easier because filmmaking is a medium that's set up to directly tell stories more than still photographs. You know, sometimes you'll need to post a still photograph with a little caption next to it or something so people even know what you're trying to say. So it's more abstract. But I think I'm more of a direct communicator. I find that easier, and that goes back to working for the church for years. Like I had to stand up and preach a sermon every Sunday. You know,
Yeah.
every Sunday night I had to have a message to give, and so I learnt how to tell a story and talk about something that was meaningful to me. So like when I write scripts for YouTube, it's the same process for me. You know, I'll start with something that's I think is important, is worth people's time to listen to, maybe about creativity and the journey and how we all struggle, and then I'll work out how to tell a story around that so that it grounds it. It's not just talking about a high level concept. It's saying, this is how this hit me in the real world, flesh and blood. So we can relate to it. And then I'll give some ideas about things that help me. So that's exactly the same process. Then I've got other videos which I make, which are just on other photographers, right? And their process. Because I think if I just make videos about the way I think about photography, that's just one set of ideas. It's not as interesting as, let me go and film with this photographer who's different from me and they think differently from me and look at this as well. And as I probably made about 30 of these little documentaries over the years, that becomes like a more interesting kind of tapestry of ideas. That's not just mine. It's what a lot of different people think about this stuff. And that's some of my favorite videos to make because I get to be a filmmaker with those. You know, the other ones where I'm sitting on my sofa talking to you about something, that's me giving a talk. I could be giving a TED talk, right? It's just my ideas communicating them. There's not much filmmaking about it. It's just capturing the talking, right? But when I get to go and film with somebody else, it's interviewing them and drawing them out for that 2 hours, trying to get like a good story that I can cut down to around 15 minutes. And then it's listening to the points in there that they're talking about, and then working out how can I go and film B-roll afterwards that I can cut over the top that makes it visually interesting, so you can feel who this person is, not just hear who they are. And then the music choice and everything else, that all becomes like more filmmaking to me. Those little documentaries, and then the writing is probably like the most direct. Like, you know, I published this book a few years ago, The Meaning in the Making, which is kind of my philosophy for the creative life. And that is just shot through with stories from my life about how I worked out and I'm still working out how to stay mentally healthy while I make things, because that can be a struggle for a lot of artists, you know. And I write these magazines twice a year, Parable, where I sort of take an idea and I'll sort of flesh it out and talk about. I'll start with something to do with photography, but end up talking about something deeper to do with psychology or spirituality. So it kind of goes on this journey around a theme every time. That to me is the most direct way that I tell a story, and that again is taken straight from the way I used to speak in churches. I mean, my job for a lot of my time in the church was to work with young people, especially teenagers. And you know, it's not easy to talk to distracted teenagers about the mysteries of the universe and keep them interested. You know, it's like that's a hard thing to do. And I learned that you can't just talk concepts. You have to be able to tell stories that ground what you're saying so that they can relate to that, and then you can unpack it. And hopefully you can unpack it in a way that's simple enough for them to grasp if it's a complicated or kind of slightly heady idea. So, you know, I take everything from what I learned before and sort of bring it to now as well.
Yeah. A lot of people send you hi, David watching from Kenya.
Cool. Hi, David.
Uh, Kenya, I never visit Kenya yet. But you say a lot of super interesting thing. But I want to ask you. You are a teacher. Me, I'm a teacher, and we create a tutorial. We create courses. Uh, we try to explain photography to other people. Okay.
Hmm.
But in my career, the most hard part to mm, understand to teach something regarding photography is the not the technical, because in my opinion technical is easy. Hey,
Yeah.
take this flash or these robes or this, put over there, take a photo and check. Is the
Mm.
how difficult is create a right connection.
Mm.
And that's a paradox, because in the world we have all type of connection. The most difficult connection is in front of other people.
Hmm.
And what do you think about this paradox?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I did a filmmaker's course years ago with online with a filmmaker named Werner Herzog. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's made some incredible documentaries over the years, especially. And he said in that course, he said, I can teach you how to the technical side of filmmaking in 2 weeks. It's not difficult. Um, but learning how to really see, that takes a lifetime. And so the book he prescribed for the course was nothing to do with filmmaking. It was a book called The Peregrine by J.A. Baker. And it's just a book about a guy. It's this guy from Essex who's writing and describing peregrine falcons, these birds of prey, where he lived in the 50s. He just describes them for a whole book, but he describes them in very beautiful prose and quite poetic language sometimes. And he basically said, just read this. Read how this guy describes birds for a whole book, this one species of bird. If you can learn to see like this guy sees and connect with your environment like that, you'll be a great filmmaker. I can teach you how to do all the camera stuff in no time. That's easy. This is the hard stuff. And that always
Yeah.
stuck with me that you know, it's we spend, and there's nothing wrong with this. Before I say it, there's nothing wrong with this. But when we start in photography, we spend so much time learning the technical side because we think that it's a shortcut to making good images, right? So if we get a fancy camera and we learn a couple of tips that will make our photography look better very quickly, then we think like we're a good photographer. But there comes this point where we have the fancy camera and we know lots of little tips and tricks by now, but we still make boring photographs, right? That nobody cares about because we have to learn the lesson that that's just a tiny part of the growth. It's a part you still have to do. You still have to learn how to use your camera. You still got to get a camera, the one that does the job that you need it to do. That's all fine. But the bigger growth is learning how to see, and not just see like good compositions or good color combinations. It's how to see the world, how to see people, how to see life happening in front of you in a way that's worth capturing and sharing with other people. And that's much deeper work that we have to do. I know some incredibly technical photographers who know everything, who know way more technique than I do, but I just don't care about their images. And I know some photographers who are completely untechnical, way less technical. I know a lot more technique than they do, but they make really compelling photographs. Like I did a video with a lady named Fiona Lark a few years ago in the Lake District in the UK. And she makes beautiful self-portraits. And when she tells a story about why she started making those self-portraits in the mist up on the mountainside with these wild ponies, it's beautiful work because of it. But she sticks her camera on auto, and she doesn't even have a tripod. She just rests it on a fence post or a wall, and she sticks it on a timer. And she shoots like that and then crops in and adds some grunge on an iPad and sticks it online. And the images are beautiful, because she's saying something with it. It's not about the fancy techniques. It's about what she's saying with it, and you can feel that. So if you're a street photographer, it's about seeing humanity and how we interact with each other. Because if you can capture that compelling humanity in your images, you'll make beautiful photographs even if you don't do it technically. If you're a portrait photographer, right? You know this, I know this, like portrait photography, when it's good, often becomes a therapy session, right? We're sitting with somebody and they're opening up and we're capturing those honest moments with somebody, but we can't do it if we're fussing with our camera and playing with lights and changing settings because we're obsessed about the technique. Just you know what, if that's taking your focus away, stick everything on auto and just focus on the person. You'll definitely make better photographs. Keep it about the person. In everything that we
Yeah.
do, it has to be learning how to see the value in what's in front of us and tell that story well, not fussing with the techniques and the technical and the photographs and all the rest of it.
Mm, I totally agree. And that's let me say hi, everybody. Hi, Laura. Hi, Pierre. Hi, Natalie from South Africa
Ah,
and
cool.
from Montreal. A lot in the
Nice.
world. We are all in the world. Okay,
Cool.
that's the question, Sean. In my personal experience, I find this I don't know this I think this chain, okay, this creativity chain, okay,
Mm,
and I mean this when you focus yourself too much for good light, good equipment, you don't focus what is the real important thing, the person in front of you.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's, in my opinion, how I said before earlier of live, I this is one reason because I find a lot of boring image on social.
Mhm,
People are obsessed from lightning for emulate something, make likes, okay, something
mhm,
like this. And
mhm,
when keep in mind that I follow you from a long time from YouTube. I'm your big fan, and I absolutely love your idea of scouting a new photographer, interact with their, and try to explain their inspiration. For example, Cicella.
mhm.
Who is the correct name? I'm
Sicily,
stupid.
yeah, yeah,
She is an amazing photographer. I
yeah,
saw your video and wow, for me is
yeah,
that's a photography.
yeah,
She takes a beautiful portrait of you. I
yes,
saw, yeah, wonderful. Simply
yeah,
sitting, talking,
yeah,
get emotion, one
yeah,
light. I think LED light, something like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
we
Nana.
used my LED light that I had for filming actually, because she hadn't charged the batteries on one of her
Mm.
little lights, so we just used mine, but the battery only lasted about 10 minutes, so everything she got was in 10 minutes because that's all we had on this tiny little light, yeah.
Yeah, but and the atmosphere, the light, the contrast range by color is so amazing. Is rap.
Mhm.
She was very very. Uh, she takes a powerful image of you,
Yeah.
and that's the great. Oh, I video, and I really hope. But in your opinion, this social chain that a lot of photographer, young photographer especially, uh, has is good or not? Maybe I mean, uh, what is the? Can you explain a little bit better what is the difference to make a good content and make a content to make like or
Yeah.
subscribe or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I suppose the first thing to say is that for me, I'm not upset by the fact that I see a lot of stuff online that is boring to me. Like to me, I don't want to give anyone a hard time. You know, if I'm following a lot of people, lots of those people are going to be beginners sometimes, right? And that's they're just trying to find their feet. And we all make boring images sometimes still, and we definitely made lots of boring images back then. And everyone's trying to be a photographer. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the numbers thing, right? And if we don't like seeing the images that we see, then we have to get better at curating our social media. Unfollow those people you don't want to see and actually have a feed that inspires you. If that's what you want to use it for, I made a video a little while ago, like take responsibility for curating your feed so that if you don't want to see the stuff, unfollow it. Get that stuff coming down that every photograph is something from somebody like, this is inspirational to me. This is my becomes my mood board for how I can get better. You know, we can do that. We have the control to do that. But on the other side, I think like, you know, if you are a beginner, you have a choice to make very early on. Why are you taking photographs? Are you taking photographs because you think it's a quick way to get fame and fortune? Because if that's what you're doing, I'm not even telling you that's wrong. I'm just saying that what a lot of people then decide is that the way that they need to approach it is not like art, but like a business. So they'll go onto the internet and they'll look for who else's work is working. Is it getting a lot of attention, right? And then they'll say, well, a quick way to get my fame or fortune is to just try and do a weak copy of what they're doing. You're not good enough to do what they're doing well yet because you're a beginner. So you end up doing like a weak copy of the popular. But the problem with that is you completely destroy your ability to let your own creative voice come out. Make the images that only you can make, right? So the braver way to do it, and I know how hard this is, right, is to decide first who you are, what you actually have to say, how you see the world that other people don't, and then trying to make images from that space outwards. And that's harder because that means that that you're gonna risk more. You're gonna make work that isn't like the popular, which means it's open to criticism. People will jump on your comments and go, "I don't get this. I don't understand what you're doing." But every great artist in history started like that. They made work which people didn't understand first and only came to understand it later. You take someone like Van Gogh or Van Gogh or however you pronounce his name, like as a painter, he was somebody who no one even understood his work in his lifetime, but now he's one of the greatest painters that existed because he was brave enough to make the paintings that he wanted to see more of in the world, even though most people didn't really get it or appreciate it while he was around. Like that's the braver route, and that's the route to making work that lasts, I think. If we only copy the popular, we just put out more work out there that's kind of that middle of the road, everyone kind of likes it, but it's super forgettable. And that's a shame, right? Instead of being brave enough to carve our own path, even if it doesn't go anywhere, right? Even if we have to keep adjusting or we make mistakes along the way, it's trying to aim for that first. I mean, for example, like I don't think my images do this very well, but let's take YouTube for an example, right? I could have at the start of me starting a YouTube channel, I could have said, "Well, I know what's popular. I know what people like to watch online. It's quick tips videos or it's gear reviews so people know what cameras to buy." Though that's the popular stuff.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, I said to myself, like, I don't there's nothing wrong with videos like that, but I don't think that's what I have to give. I think I have to give this other thing where I'm gonna sit and talk about deeper stuff, and my audience won't be as big, but hopefully they'll really care about the stuff like I do. So I tried to be brave and create that kind of channel, and it's worked in the long run. It's built an audience of people that care about the stuff that I care about. But if I'd just done gear reviews for 10 years, I would probably have been forgotten in the mix of the thousands of other channels that are doing that. You've got to find what you have to give as a personality, and that's your photography, your filmmaking, your writing, or anything. Like you got to work out how am I wired, and what can I be saying that other people can't because of how I see the world, and be brave enough to give that a go.
Yes, that's guys, that's the most important thing that Sean can share with us. Don't forget these words. If you start something, start for you. Create connection with yourself in the first time, and after with the other people. I think if you share your creativity, you can find the people understand your creativity and start to follow you, start to appreciate you, start to um, mm, make you some question. Hey, how do you build this film or scene or something like that? And that's the reason because a lot of YouTube channel going down after some time. So a lot of people
Mhm,
simply, for example, in my case, I have a super small channel, and I don't find the right way for my channel because a lot of I I reopen my channel because I have some sponsor and I need to create a video for this. Okay, as a lot
mhm,
of people now do, but is when I see my video, I don't see me. I see another person.
mhm.
I don't know if you understand me because my English tonight is not perfect. But
That's okay.
for example, when I describe a camera or a lens, it's not me because I don't care what camera I'm using, what lens I'm using. For me, the most important thing is the light and the color.
Mhm,
And first of all, the person or people that I'm want to connect, want to uh, create a story with these people, create with a connection with them. And when I start, for example, photography adventure, my basic idea is this: uh, tell some story that nobody tells yet,
mhm,
or and I'm trying to find the person that live in other times, in other universe, in other spirituality connection with all all stuff around and as for me, photography is this, but it's so difficult to create a video because the time is so tiny, is so I don't know, it's so difficult for me.
Mm.
Mm, and when I see your videos, I have no words to describe because it's so powerful, so emotive, so uh, full of life, and I love it.
Oh,
And
thank you.
mm, instead, another guys, if you have any question for Sean, type in chat and I read for Sean. And we have from Kansas, USA.
Cool.
So, from Netherlands. Okay, okay, okay. A lot of countries.
Mm.
I love it. You have a lot of audience from all countries of the world. Do you like travel, Sean?
Yeah, I love it, yeah. I find it very inspiring, being able to go to different places and I mean, you know, like, the light is different everywhere you go, the colors are different everywhere you go, it sort of fires you up. I mean, one of my favorite cities to shoot in is Rome. I just love Rome.
Mm.
I think the light there is gorgeous, and, of course, that
Uh,
burnt yellow and orange on the walls and all the
yeah.
texture, I think is such a beautiful backdrop for things. I love it, yeah.
Yes, the right, Pantone is Giallo Napoli.
Uh-huh.
Is the right, because, in when you study in history in art, of art, you, study the colors, the
Mhm.
people use to create, cities, and this type of, yellow is Giallo Napoli.
Yeah,
Is
well, there you go. I mean,
the
it's
real name of this particular color.
nice, there you go.
I don't ma that's a funny story because, all color have a precise story behind them.
Uh-huh.
Where and that's so funny to study. I love, study how, people, create that particular color, or for example, we
Yeah.
in Italy have, Rosso Valentino, Rosso Ferrari, red. Rosso means
Yes.
red, okay?
Yeah.
And, Rosso Alfa Romeo is a car brand, we have a lot of reds in Italy. I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, in UK, we have British green for cars. For example, Jaguar
Yeah.
green. Yeah, that is so interesting to talking about. Colors are so important for me. I will be
Yeah.
taking a set.
When I was in Sweden, filming with Sissela, obviously in Sweden, they've got the kind of red wash on the wood on the houses. It's very, very iconic for sort of Sweden, but that red against the green, because obviously they're complementary colors, create some really interesting looks as well. I mean, I really wanna go to, Chefchaouen in Morocco, which is kind of that city that's all painted blue, basically, because blue's not a color I like to include in my photography a lot. So I thought that'd be a good challenge, like go to a blue city and try and make decent photographs. I was just in Skiathos in Greece, and there's of course like lots of white and blue combos there as well that you've got.
Greece is all white and blue, cyan
Yeah,
blue, something like that.
yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah,
so solar city, so bright city. I love
yeah,
it. And
yeah.
allora, Moser type, I will be taking a 7 days cruise. I'm planning to only carrying my small camera, Ricoh GR3X. I love this camera. I take a video talking about this camera. I really appreciate it. Ricoh
Mhm.
series. And Canon 6D with just one lens, 25, 105. Am I hoping that's enough? But I think is a lot of stuff for
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I
like, I like the idea. I used to take that Ricoh GR3X only with no backup camera because I like the challenge of saying if I'm shooting street or traveling somewhere, just having that one because that's about a 40 mil focal length equivalent on that camera. 40 mil is pretty versatile. You get a lot done with that. So I would just travel with that sometimes and say, I don't have another option. I have to shoot everything in 40 mil and see what I can get. Now I'm using my legs to zoom. I'm having to think extra because I can't zoom in and out. I have to use that 40 mil frame to frame everything, whether it's subjects or scenes. I have to work out how to use it. And the challenge of that is really good, I think. So for me, that's more than enough. If you want a real challenge, just go with the GR3X and see what you get and
Yeah.
push yourself. Kind of,
GR3X is a
yeah,
very amazing camera. The quality,
yeah,
the image quality is superb. I love
yeah,
that
it's
camera. And
yeah,
that's a funny story. When Rico sent me to try this camera,
yeah,
they say me, "Hey, Oz, test this camera, take some photo and have fun, okay? And try with constant." And I start to think, okay, try to put a trigger, and I had X Pro 2 by Godox.
uh-huh.
The trigger, but the trigger is more bigger than the camera.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah,
And that's a stupid stuff because you can hand your
yeah,
Rigo by trigger, not by camera.
yeah,
It's,
yeah, hold the trigger and just press the
yeah,
stroke.
yeah, yeah. But it's work, guys.
Yeah,
It work. If you want to use
yeah,
a flash, use Pentax for TTL because it's Pentax firmware, but it's work
yeah.
also in
I had
TTL.
this tiny little it was called a Q20 flash. I don't know if you saw those things. Tiny little thing, where
Yeah.
it's got have you seen that thing? I
I
might
never
have it
try.
here.
I know this super little flash, but I never
Yeah.
try.
It's great because it's like it's only sort of so big. I was just looking to see if I could grab it. I think it's in a box, but it's only so big, and the trigger on the bottom is like a little tiny cube that sits on the top, and you can detach the light from that and have it as a trigger. So you can do some really interesting stuff with that little Q20 flash. It's great. I used to pair that with the Ricoh and play around with that. That was fun. That was cool.
Another presenter type. Hi Sean, this is Linz from India. You say the storytelling is all about the person you are knowing. You can put your device on auto and just point and shout, but I have not seen any bad photo from you. But that's true. That's true.
Oh
But
yeah, that's
that's the interesting, the interesting comment for another question that I want to ask you is how is important the post production in your workflow?
I mean, it depends on what I'm doing. So if I'm doing street photography, post-production is just 30 seconds on my phone. That's all. Like I'll pull it across into Lightroom Mobile, and everything will just get done quickly with a few. If I have to work for more than 30 seconds on an image in Lightroom Mobile, it's not a good photograph, and then I'll just kick it out and post it. But if it's
Okay.
portrait photography, then I will. I don't know. I mean, it depends on the image, really. Sometimes I'll spend 20 minutes on it. If I'm doing a full retouch someone's asking for, it might be 45 minutes. So it depends. Yeah, it just really depends on the sort of photography that I'm doing. If I used to be doing product photography, that could take a while depending on the image and what I had to do. And yeah, but street, I like the idea of, just having a small camera on my phone in pockets that I can shoot Wi-Fi across images, edit on here in seconds and post and not make it too complicated, make it more reactive and fun. And I like that process. So I keep that stuff super simple in terms of
Mm.
post. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I'm not street photographer, guys, but I really appreciate the philosophy behind the street photography, with behind the snapshots. And I'm portrait photographer, I'm pro retoucher, and with Sean, we before start live, we are talking about the cameras, the equipment, stuff like this. And what's your favorite light for traveling or for take a picture, for sort of strobes, LED, both. What's your bag usually have inside?
Yeah. I mean, portrait photography, um, it's changed a lot. So I used to travel around with a big roller bag of Bowen's lights that was sort of proper kind of monoblock strobes.
AD
Um,
600, something like this, 400,
Something like that, yeah, something like that.
something.
But then the Godox 82, yeah, Then the Godox 8200s came around, which, I absolutely love those strobes, like, because they're so compact. I'll show you my little bag. Do you wanna see?
Yeah.
So, this is my little kind of travel lighting case that I'd sort of take for strobes. I've had it for a long time now, and then inside I've got, that's kind of my little kit, my little setup,
Ah, yeah.
which is,
Uh,
there's,
two
like, two 8200s. I've got a third one as well. And then,
V1. No,
I've got, what is this? 685,
8016.
also a
S6.
Godox flash. Something, so I've got 3 lights like that, and obviously the great thing about them is you can add that kind of bare bulb attachment on top, which is better to fill the modifier with than that kind of Fresnel head. So I use those mostly, and sort of, triggers obviously, and then filters. So that's kind of my go-to sort of travel strobe stuff, and, like, because the thing is, like, I've started to use a lot more constant light in my portrait photography, but not for outdoors, because obviously constant lights just aren't powerful enough yet to sort of battle the sun. But the amazing thing with these 8200s is with high speed sync, I can be battling the sun. And I've got this adapter where I can actually put two 8200 bodies on the front and two bulbs on the front, and then put the modifier on. So it doubles the power. So I can have a lot of power coming out for very kind of low
Yes.
weight travel
A
size. So I use those a lot for travel, portrait photography. But then I've also, I'm using a lot more constant lights in my home studio where I can control the ambient light, and, small constant lights as well. I'll show you those as well if you want. Um,
Yeah, sure.
there's two there's kind of 2 that I use a lot now. They're both, Zhiyun lights. The one is this kind of,
Ah,
I mean, these things are so small. The great thing about this, obviously, is I make videos and I take portraits. So if I can travel and I know I can control the ambient light, I'm not shooting outside in hard sunlight, then I can just use constant lights, right? And I can use it for both filmmaking and portraits. So that's the size of the light. It's tiny, it's a little 100-watt
oh,
light, with
is
RGB and everything else. And you can add a battery pack on the side as well. And then I've got a slightly bigger one. This is an X100 if anyone wants to look them up. And then this one's slightly bigger, so it's slightly more than double the power of those other ones, but it's still not that big. And that's the size of this LED
oh,
light.
that's the light that I use Cicella for your portrait.
Yeah, so this is the G200. Actually, the one Sisela took of me was that little one. It wasn't even this one.
Ah,
So
okay,
that's how
it's the little
powerful
one?
that thing is, even outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
outdoor
a
is a
lot of power.
sunset moment.
No, it's middle of the day.
Uh,
Middle of the day.
i
Yeah.
no light, no ambient light.
Well, there was, but it was sort of under tree cover, so it was sort of
Ah,
dappled
okay,
light.
okay,
But
okay, okay, okay.
because she just put the light close, it meant that actually we didn't need
Uh,
it
now
too much.
I usually use AD100 because
Uh-huh.
it's more compact. I have 4 of my for traveling with the SMD softbox. Is
Mhm.
super faster, and I absolutely recommend because it's easy, faster, and I don't like AGSS speed, icing speed,
Uh-huh.
and to don't force my camera to work in icing speed. I usually use ND filter
Okay. Yeah.
to recover shutter speed as in the range, for example, 125, 160, 200
Yeah.
of the second, and that's a cool technique. I teach a lot this technique because a lot of people want to bear the sunlight. I make, for example, with the 80-100 in the middle of the day in Italy in July, with with one flash, a beautiful photo using this technique, using ND filter, and
Yeah.
is I really recommend. And I have
Yeah.
in reality I have a whole series of ID because I work also with Godox, and but for traveling, my idea is, 2 80-100, 1v1, 2 modifier, and
Yeah.
I'm okay. And,
Yeah.
instead in studio, I usually work with LED because Nanolite, send me a lot of, big LED. For example, look this battery how it's big. What is
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
I hope
Hey,
that
man,
lasts a long
look,
time,
look.
yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
exactly. Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Okay, it's, really huge, really heavy. And this for, this you have two these, and this, half kilo
Mhm.
of, HP, 600, is a very powerful battery for external use, for cinema, for, big LED lights. And,
Mm.
but it's so huge to bring with you. It's
Exactly.
3, yeah, too much.
For me, traveling light matters, especially if you're flying, like, you
Yeah.
can't be taking huge amounts of gear like that. I did a trip, in 2018 to Namibia, and I shot portraits with the Himba tribe over there. And in those days, I was using the Alien B800, and if you remember that,
Oh, LMB is so
with
compact
a
but
hanging
so
battery pack,
big.
yeah. But, I mean, that was with those and a roller bag and everything, and the amount I had to pay extra just to get that stuff on the plane. Now I'm always trying to work out, how can I just do it simple with a couple of 8200s and a couple of modifiers and a small bag and keep the weight down is quite important. Yeah,
AD200 is the most versatile product from Godox, in my opinion. A
for
lot of
sure.
accessories, a lot of, mounting each other. For example, you can put two together, or you
Yeah,
can use a different type of, heads, or you can
yeah,
use a ring light, or you can use a lot of stuff for
yeah,
AD200. And,
yeah, it's a
hey
powerful
guys,
tech.
type in chat what's your favorite light. Strobes, flash, LED, and, we try to answer you if you have any question. But, you travel alone, usually, Sean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's no fun traveling with a photographer, right? Because we always wanna run around and take photos at weird times and, like, I kinda like traveling alone, I enjoy it. I feel like I don't have to, check with anybody, and I can run around and do stuff at strange times because the light's interesting, or just go walking for hours down weird alleyways because I wanna see what's down there, if there are photos down there. If you do travel with people, it's a bit more difficult, isn't it?
Yeah,
You've gotta, like, be with people, and you can't
you
just
need
run
to
around and
take
do
your
selfies.
time.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah,
too.
no, I enjoy kind of solo traveling, it's good. Yeah.
I love travel alone or with my girlfriend because she's a photographer too, and we have the
Oh, that's
same
cool, yeah.
time to spend to, hey, that's interesting, you know. But, for example, I live alone and I love loneliness.
Uh-huh.
I really appreciate the powerful of, loneliness. In my
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
opinion, is, if you, find yourself, you can, speak, with yourself. You can, I don't know. Loneliness is, mm, a big, mm, container for your feeling.
Mhm.
And that's funny because when I travel alone, I I want to feel something when I see something. When I'm, talking with the people, for example, I talking with the people, I'm not seeing the world, what
Mm.
happen, around me, and it's not good time to spend for photography.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm. Lights depend on your situation. It's important, but I find that something gear gets the ways on the moment and kill the moods. Hmm. Interesting, interesting opinion. I like it. What do you think about this, Sean?
Yeah,
I,
it's right, isn't it? It's the right light for the right situation. I mean, it depends what you're trying to do. Um, I it was interesting because I listened to a little bit of your interview with Carl Taylor recently. Um,
yeah,
uh, and I heard him talking about sort of strobe versus constant lights. And his opinion was if you put in constant lights on a subject for a long time, their eyes can get fatigued with so much light in their face. And I have the opposite opinion. You know, this is why I think we all work differently. It's great to have different sort of views of points of view on this. I find that if I'm shooting a subject with strobes, and this is a big part of why I switched over to constant lights in my own studio. I find that that flash in your face constantly going off is more startling to people than a light that they can get used to, that's constant, that stays. And I never have my lights so bright that they're going to be blinded anyway. It's not going to be brighter than the sun outdoors. It's going to be less than that. So it shouldn't fatigue them being in that sort of situation. And I also find like when you shot with strobes, especially if you're dealing with somebody that's not used to that, and I do photograph a lot of people that aren't professional models, they're just people, you know, that they would start to anticipate the flash and you can feel them tense the second before it fires. And that kind of relationship with this thing constantly like coming at them like this is like it sort of puts them, makes them uneasy. And that for me doesn't work for me. I hear what Carl's saying about the way he works, and I just work the opposite way. For me, I think it's kind of, I found it's kinder with my subjects to have a constant light that they can get used to and almost forget is there. It's just like the lighting in the room. We can just relax and interact with each other. So
Y-
it just depends, I suppose, how you work with people and
yes, that's
how
true.
does the light work for the way that you work? And does it facilitate the mood of the scene you want, or does it break it? And it's different for everybody.
Yes, I think the same because for me, working with constant is more easy for the people that are not professional
Yeah. Yeah.
because you can for example, now I have mounted my LED panel with a simply diffuser by Profoto, the umbrella put over
Mhm.
there, stop any problem with the eyes. Instead, with the flash, people usually start to close before flash
Yes. Yeah,
or
exactly.
open to match or
Yeah.
freeze, and that's not that what I want. Okay,
Yes.
I want more comfort zone, more relax, more okay. But the case I think I think this Carl must to use a low ISO and close aperture because medium format camera want to this particular technique. If you shoot f11, you can
Yeah,
use
he must be
LED.
trained a lot. He's also shooting full length in a big space, so he needs a lot more light. Like, I don't shoot
Yeah.
stuff like that. I shoot portraits, and if it's a lot of headshots, so I don't need a lot of light. Or at most, it'll be editorial, which is still usually not full length for me. It'll be a three-quarter or a half, and I still don't need a lot of light to do that. So I don't have that problem. I don't need a ton of light in a room. I don't need to be blinding them with something that's as bright as the sun,
And
you know? It can be soft, quite pleasing light to sit in.
yeah, I find my light more comfortable with, for example, warm tones than the classic
Yeah.
daylight. I
Yeah.
usually a ton of warm or ton of gel when they use flashes, and usually CTO or WCTO or one
Mhm.
quarter CTO, stuff like that.
But
And
this is a nice thing with LED lights now is, I mean, like the light I just showed you before, this X100 is RGB, so I can pick any color I want. You know, there's so much control. I don't need to be messing with gels and fiddling with things. And then a gel is just one color. I can't fine tune that color. But with this, I can pick exactly the hue saturation that I want for whatever light I've got. It's not even just warm, cool. I can get creative. I can, you know, and I love that kind of flexibility. I did a video, I don't know if you saw it, with a guy named Phil Sharp last year, who is one of my favorite portrait photographers working today. I love, love, love his images. I think he's brilliant. And it was really interesting to watch the way he lights. He's got a beautiful studio space in London, big windows, but he's got curtains on all the windows around, so he can cut that light where he wants it. But he says that the light coming in through the windows changes every day and changes by the seasons and changes by the hour, you know. the angle of the light depending on winter, summer, or whether there's cloud cover, and he'll start his portrait shoot with natural light only, and he'll work out where the natural light is beautiful, and then he'll shoot a few, and then he'll start to bring in maybe just one LED as like a little kicker light or something, and then he'll maybe change the color of that light just to give a bit of contrast from the daylight coming in, and then he'll cut some of that daylight out and bring in a key light that's an
To
LED light.
emulate the part of the light.
Sorry?
I mean, to emulate the part of light, for example,
Yeah.
cloudy
Well, to change
or
it. It's not even to emulate, it's just change it, and then you'll slowly by the end of the shoot, he's closed all the curtains and he's only working with LED. So he'll almost start with only natural and then just start to bring in natural and LED and see what those do together, and then he'll just go to LED by the end, and he's got all these completely different looks, and he'll play with colors, not just color temperatures, he'll play with colors as well and use that in combination with the background and their clothing, and the variety of stuff you can get out of that is beautiful to me. I love it. I think you'd really like his work.
yeah, and that's not easy to do because
No,
you need to have a lot of knowledge of the how the light mm, kick the subject,
yeah,
the hours, the days, the cloudy moment, the sunny
yeah.
moment. Is a lot of thing to remember before start to shoot. LED is more
And
easier, is much faster.
and there's like a random element to it I like because if you're like me, I can get lazy. Like I because I know my favorite way of lighting somebody, right? So I can always go to the same sort of lighting setup because I like a very clean Rembrandt style of light. So I always go to that, right? But then my work starts to look the same all the time, and I start to get frustrated. I need more variety in this. What he does is he starts with whatever the day is giving him through the window. So that's different every day. So the first starting point for his shoot is always random, right? And he has to start there, which means that his work has a big variety of looks to it. Sometimes there's direct sunlight on the subject. Sometimes there's soft diffuse cloud cover. Sometimes it's quite soft and moody light. Like that's where he begins. And I love that kind of confidence he has with his skills in lighting that he can begin with that dice roll. Whatever comes up, I'm going to use, I'm going to begin with that and then see how I can build it off that. And that to me is like, I want to grow my skills to that point where I can be that confident and not just always go to my favorite lighting setups.
Not comfort zone, but go and try and grow and try and
Yeah,
uh, dice roll.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a part of improvisation. Okay,
Uh-huh.
today we have this light. Start to make something cool.
Yeah.
That's the main state. Okay, Sean, any plans for visit Netherlands? Rotterdam
Um, yeah, I'm
is
always
the
open to
question.
visiting. Yeah, I'm always open to visiting Netherlands. I haven't been to Rotterdam. I've done Amsterdam a few times, but I haven't been to Rotterdam. I did a photo walk there a couple of years ago, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, but I'd love to. Yeah,
Used to do photo walks, if I'm correct. That's
yeah. I
the
have I
the
have done in the past. I haven't done for a few years now. Uh, it's difficult now. I'll be honest, like, it's a bit so sometimes the last one I did in London, for example, 120 people arrived. I can't you can't walk through a city with 120 people. It's just there's no space to do it, and everyone loses everybody, and then everyone's texting you, "Where are you?" It just became a bit too much. So, but these were all, like, just free things I do, just say, "Hey, come meet me if you wanna have a chat, and we can have a walk and take some photographs." So they got a little bit too big. But I would probably go back potentially and do workshops. So my friend Joshua Jackson and Joshua is a really talented street photographer, much more talented than me. His work is incredible. Josh K. Jack on Instagram, if you want to look him up. He and I
yeah,
have just been
sure.
working on uh, a kind of a new book on street photography and how to approach street photography as an artist rather than a news reporter, you know. So that should be coming out next year, and we will probably start doing some workshops and traveling
That's
around that book,
fantastic.
teaching around it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like teach?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's all I do really. I'm as much of a teacher as a photographer. You know, in fact, I don't do a lot of client work anymore. I teach other photographers more than I make work for other clients. So yeah, I love it. I love it. It makes me happy seeing people kind of get a handle on it and find their own voice with it. It's really rewarding. You know, it
Yes,
makes me. It makes,
I love teaching. For me, is this mm, is this for me? Teaching is this. If I teach my style, my techniques, my approach of photography, one day this person teach to another person, okay, and another person, and my photography live forever.
yeah,
A part of me, and that's a fantastic idea of my idea of teaching, in my
yeah, yeah,
opinion, and I hope
yeah,
you agree.
yeah. You're part of a chain, aren't you? Like passing down what
Yeah.
you know. I mean, it's one of the reasons I started on YouTube was because, you know, I never studied photography. I didn't go to university and study photography. I taught
Mm.
myself on YouTube, and I thought, yeah, it'd be nice to be able to give back and also put some things out there that teach the next lot who are coming through, which would be great. You know, it should be a chain that kind of passes down the whole time. We should be part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Another question. Believe you are planning to trip in South Africa?
Yes, I'll be there in November. I'm trying to organize. Maybe you can help me, Natalie. I'm trying to organize a couple of venues, maybe one in Johannesburg, one in Cape Town, to do talks. But I'm really battling. I've emailed Orms, who she'll know about in Cape Town, 4 times, and they just still won't respond to me. So if you can help me find venues, I will absolutely be doing a talk, hopefully a talk in Joburg and one in Cape Town if I can find venues for them. Yeah. And if I can get them for free, then I'm happy to do the talk for free. People could just come. I'm not trying to sell tickets or anything. So yeah, November, middle of November somewhere here.
Yeah. The question, the answer is yes, please.
Yes.
And
Well,
in Italy instead, when do you come in Italy?
I don't have plans yet, but we will. I mean, I'll probably be back probably in summer next year. I mean, we try and run our retreats, annual retreats in Italy,
Mm.
in
O-
Tuscany.
Always.
So, and usually I'll do the retreats in Tuscany for a week, and then I'll go to Rome for 4 or 5 days afterwards to do some of my own
Uh,
photography. So
I'm
hopefully, it's usually June or July, so something
yeah,
around there.
I'm really near to Rome. You don't hesitate to ask me something if you need
Cool,
some
man.
help, some organization, if you want to make a workshop or something like that.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
don't
did a
worry.
talk in Rome maybe a year ago, something like that. Yeah, which was great because now there's actually an Italian version of the Meaning in the Making out. So I sort of went along to kind of do a talk
Oh,
around that,
oh,
which was great.
that's great. Natalie, type. I can assist with finding venues.
Brilliant, man. Yeah, just if you message me on Instagram, that'd be great. Yeah, we can have a
Yeah.
chat. That'd be cool.
Yeah. And that's super interesting because you can organize in this live your next travel
Yeah,
in
yeah,
real
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's do you I saw in behind you the piano. Do you love play piano?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I used to play
Oh.
in bands in my 20s, so in South Africa. But and especially when I worked for the church, my job was partly kind of youth ministry stuff, but it was usually the music as well. So, but I didn't when I left the church, I didn't play for almost 10 years. I just didn't. I just left it, you know. And it's
Mhm.
only been in the last sort of 4 years, maybe, which I've kind of got some music back in my life, and I'm trying to sort of play around, see what I want to do with it. Every now and again, I will play music for the videos that I make in the background just to kind of bed things out as well. So it's I'm sort of playing with more ambient kind of soundtrack stuff these days, which has been fun just to kind of ease back in.
Yeah, you can feel what the music, what the video needs, what is the best
Yeah,
music.
and sometimes it's so hard to find the right track, you know? I'll always end the video with a track that someone's actually composed and put together because I don't have time and I don't have the ability to write a great song like that. But what I'll do is I'll find the right track and then I'll work out the chord structure.
And that's so cool. Oh, live was a little bit disconnected. Now it's reconnected. OBS is stupid tonight, but it's okay. Then no problem. YouTube save always the live. And no, I'm so happy to talk with you, and I hope to talk again. And I don't know, a lot of people. I do love to do street photography with Sean. I could learn so much. It's true.
Hopefully one day, man. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
why do you organize the street day with Sean Tagger in Rome? Oh, it's
Sounds great.
beautiful.
Sounds great.
Yeah, Rome is beautiful in all part of the years,
Yeah.
and you can stay in the spring, summer,
Yeah.
winter. Is
Yeah.
always good.
I said to you before, didn't I? Like Rome is one of my favorite cities for street. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Venice.
I haven't been to Venice yet. I've been
Venice is
told like
so
I mean
beautiful,
I have no way to
man.
judge, but like I've been told like it's quite touristy now, so you have to pick your time of year to go. So it's not just rammed with tourists, but I'd like to try. Yeah, I've been to Milan before. Um, yeah, I didn't get on with Milan as much. I preferred Rome for sure. And obviously
Oh yeah,
I've done like Siena, Pisa, Florence, those kind of cities as well, which are great too. Yeah, I love Siena. Siena's fantastic. Yeah, yeah,
Siena is so beautiful. Pisa is so beautiful. Uh, all city of Italy are beautiful because it's full of story, full of
mm,
medieval part, full of
yeah,
church. Mm, for example, here all church contain a lot of paint, of famous
yeah,
painter. For example, I'm so fan of Van Gogh.
yeah.
I really love Van Gogh. I take a photo for the anniversary.
Mm,
The organization called me for take a photo, and for me it's a big honor because
mm,
I can photograph the original paint of
yeah,
Van Gogh and
beautiful.
full
Yeah.
full full shiver
Yeah, 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 yeah.
for me. And now I find a person who live in Paris and identical is the same face of Van Gogh. It's the same person,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
and I need to photograph him. And he dress himself like Van Gogh.
Okay.
Is wow! Is something like Doctor Who,
Yeah, yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah. I
Something
remember
like
that
the
scene,
oh
yeah.
I when I find him, wow!
Yeah.
I tap him by Instagram, and he check my Instagram profile because I take some photo of a person to cosplay Van Gogh,
Mhm.
and he typed me, "Hey, yes, please take some photo." And wow,
That's fun.
and
That's cool.
a lot of people want to visit their country, Rome, South Africa. I don't know. Let me check other countries. Bristol.
Uh-huh.
Manuele Pasqualini is Italian. Live in
Uh-huh.
Bristol now. I hope full Sean will come to do street photography here at some point.
Hopefully.
I never visit Bristol. I really don't know how is it.
It's cool. It's good. It's quite a, like there's a lot of creative people in Bristol. It's quite a creative city, yeah.
Yes, instead, I recently interviewed Johnny Edwards from
Mhm.
Dallas, and she is a brilliant photographer, so amazing photographer. And
Mm.
I hope to photograph him. He's a very powerful person with full of tattoos,
Mhm.
piercing, and he use Sony too. A lot of people are using Sony in this period. I don't know why.
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe for videos, not
Mhm.
only for photography. I really don't know. I had a lot of Sony camera, but I sell all because I don't know. I don't like colors. I
Mhm.
don't like menus. I don't like
Mhm.
the size. I prefer big camera. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
It's my personal preference.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been to the UK for 15 years. It's a long time, man. So, guys, is late. We 1 hour is just passed, guys. Sean, many thanks to come in this podcast, and I hope to have you another time, guys.
Mm.
Oh wait, do you guys know the new app for photographer called Photo? No, it's alternative of Instagram. I really no.
Yeah, I
Mm,
know it, but I think like the problem with all these apps is like if you're on an app to chase likes, I'm not sure it's any app is gonna give you what you want. And the problem with these new apps is like everyone will jump across to it for 5 minutes, but they'll all go back to Instagram because that's where most people are hanging out. So they know that the audience there potentially is always bigger. I'd love another app to come out and sort of challenge Instagram for dominance because it's such a monopoly at the moment. But between Vero and Glass and Photo and Iris and all
Dio,
these other apps, they're kind of coming out, but they're not. The people who are moving across don't stay and make the community work. They always just go back to Instagram. So it'd be nice, but I don't really see it necessarily. Well, we
too
can
much
hope,
up,
right?
guys. Too much up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, we need to go now. 1 hour is passed. Is super fast in my opinion. Sean, thanks for coming. Guys, see you the next interview next week. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to check other interview. And if you want, subscribe the channel and all the stuff. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody. See you in the next live. Thanks, Sean. Thanks a lot.
Thank